This is where we tell you a bit about the business and what we're trying to do with it as we move forward. And really, we've spent about 2 years now working with Aston University and their Advanced Services Group. And it'd be interesting to tell you a little bit about what we've done there, but also how we've changed our approach with the services and offerings that we're delivering now to our customers. What we've done is looked at the way that advanced services are deployed, and we're taking some of the expertise of the advanced services group and what they've done with some very large organisations, people like GE Engines and Caterpillar and people like that, and try to adapt that into what we're doing as a business. If you consider what we would normally be doing as an IT organization, we would deliver something like a storage platform with some break fix as well as deployment capabilities, and that would be seen as a basic product and service. What we're trying to do though is move towards delivering a capability to the customer, so making it easier for that customer to be able to do something with what we offer. So let's talk a little bit more about that. And what I'd like to do is go through some basic slides with you to give you a picture of it. First of all, let's look at the situation a lot of our customers are in at the moment. They've got either the same budget they had before or less. They've got a team that's the same from an IT and development side or less. Especially over the last 3 or 4 months, they may have had a number of them either furloughed or laid off because the business has got lower revenues or lower profits during that period of time during the COVID-19 situation. But a lot of the user populations, both internal and external, are still the same. So still a big challenge for. I think a big thing that's also changed over the last year or two is the complexity within organisations, with the change in the type of technologies that people are using within their systems, such as moving away from just virtualization to deploying cloud services and also containerized workloads for microservices, especially part of an agile development process when they're moving towards things like a digital transformation of the business. So a lot of change in the way they're doing things. We look at the projects though, we're also seeing a lot of people trying to reduce their cost in IT, so minimizing that by changing the way that they deliver a lot of services. They're also trying to, reduce, do digital transformation within that organization, so moving to web-based services across the business, but also trying to do things like automation within their organization as well. And one of the key things with that, it actually makes the business more reliant on their infrastructure to be reliable, which comes into some issues later. Organizations are also trying to modernize what they had. They may have got more traditional physical workloads still in some places, especially around databases. And also they're trying to move forward in versions of hypervisors, but also the adoption of things like Kubernetes and those type of technologies to be able to deliver containerized workloads across both public and private cloud environments. With that cloud piece, though, we've seen a lot of people do a cloud first approach initially, but we're now looking at people creating like a hybrid approach. So they're doing some of the workload in a public cloud environment and sometimes in multiple to get that, spread the risk, but also looking at on-premise type services and be able to migrate services between them, which is becoming a bigger part of what people achieve. But I think being smarter is very important, and we're terming that term smarter rather than intelligence because we're not talking about some guy in Oxford with a propeller hat being intelligent. We're talking about utilizing technology in a better way and using artificial intelligence and machine learning to deliver smarter ways to do things. One thing is fighting complexity, especially as you're moving from what used to be maybe tens to hundreds of virtual physical machines, moving to 50 to 100 or 1,000 virtual machines in a hypervisor environment. When we're moving towards containers, we're moving to tenfold again. So it could be tens and hundreds of thousands of containers spread over multiple environments. Especially when we're looking at this, digital transformation, to be able to predict and prevent failure is really important for organizations because they prefer not to have an outage at all. So, and understanding how they can actually find the root cause of an issue and also fix it before it impacts customers is a really big thing. But also understanding Business services side of things. Is a business service being delivered? Is it being degraded in any way? And understanding that, not just the physical infrastructure it sits upon. And finally, command and control is becoming really important, especially across multiple environments. And also, if you've got different user interfaces to be able to control those different environments. It's like sometimes having multiple vehicles with all the controls in different places. So the brake, clutch, and accelerator in a different order, the way you actually select a gear in a different order, and jumping between those vehicles could be a real challenge because you're trying to, be as most productive as you can, and it makes it difficult if it's complex as that could be. So on the infrastructure side of things, what we're trying to do is deliver much smarter infrastructure. So infrastructure that actually understands what's happening. So it can give you recommendations on what needs to be done from a workload placement perspective, whether that's on the compute or on the storage side, making sure you're getting the best performance out of it. But also in the operational side, understanding more about what's happening with those operations, and monitoring the infrastructure more clearly, and also delivering root cause analysis and also insights into how to respond to an event. I think one of the key things that AI brings us in that operations space as well is also reducing the amount of noise that we get, because as these environments get more complex, we're getting more and more events and alerts, and it's difficult to actually identify the key ones. So if we can use artificial intelligence and machine learning and do smarter operations, it allows us to see the things that matter, because what we can do is correlate those and identify what's causing the problem rather than all the things that have been affected by the problem. Also, on the services side, what we're seeing is a lot of organizations are looking to get other people to help them. If you look at a lot of organizations where they have major specialists in compute, virtualization, storage, networking infrastructure, that's becoming a bit of a challenge these days. And what we're finding is people are more generalist. So they've got some capabilities, but every time they have a problem, sometimes it's like seeing it for the first time. So it takes longer for them to diagnose the issue and also then research and resolve a situation. So having smarter services that utilize other people's experience, but also doing things like automation to remediate those issues is a key thing. But in that monitoring, we're looking at smarter monitoring across all of the infrastructure. A lot of organizations have already got things like application performance monitoring tools, but they don't have something that looks at everything. They may have got SolarWinds for infrastructure. They may have got something like Dynatrace or something looking at the application side of things, but there's not one piece that can actually see the whole of the infrastructure and map out those business services to be able to see it. What we're doing is working to actually build together smarter monitoring solutions, but also integrating those into the operational capabilities so that people can actually do their jobs much easier. Finally, there are a number of components of this to be able to deliver it. Much smarter storage solutions, smarter compute platforms that are designed specifically for the requirements of the environment, whether that's a containerized or whether that's a virtual machine environment. We need to have smarter networking capabilities, especially when we're looking across multiple environments and then we're moving data between private and public cloud infrastructure, and also securing it as well, which is becoming a real challenge there. And also then on the platform side of things, making that much smarter as well, because not everyone wants to use specific infrastructure. Some people are looking for the deployment of a platform that they can utilize, whether that's a hypervisor or a Kubernetes environment, and focus just on the actual workloads themselves, not the underlying infrastructure beneath it. And finally, on the cloud side of things, cloud is very good in some respects to make it easier for us to actually deploy things, but the operation of those workloads can be quite a challenge. Managing all the patch upgrades, managing security, and understanding what's happening across multiple cloud environments can be a real challenge. So that's what we're trying to do at the moment. We're working with Aston University, like I said, to understand better what our customer needs are, working with our customers to understand what their key areas of capability that they're trying to fill, the gaps, and what we're doing is deploying services to deliver that. I'd like to invite you back again next Thursday, and what we'll do is go into how we've actually stepped up the ladder through the development of those advanced services with Aston University and got away from those basic product and service capabilities towards more of a capability for our customers. Also, tomorrow we've got our Avocado Friday where we're talking about smart hybrid cloud security systems and access control. So that'll be 3 o'clock tomorrow if you want to join me for that. Anyway, thank you very much for now, and